How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Preston Outdoors channel and the recap video of our Road to Pro series. Recap of Toledo Bend, first Bassmaster Open of Division 2. Toledo Bend down here on the border between Texas and Louisiana. Literally still got the jersey on, truck is in the parking lot in the campground here. I want to get this shot for you guys so it's fresh on my mind. So let's talk about how it went down for me. What I was targeting was cypress trees. I had a feeling with the temperatures being 63 to 65 all the way up to 70 degrees in some of these back bays that these fish were going up to cypress trees to spawn. Looking at the weights and stuff now, I was probably fishing the second wave of spawn, or I was fishing buck bass that were guarding fry or up there just swimming around. Maybe there's a bed there, and little did I know that the spawn had basically already happened. The guys that are doing well in this tournament are fishing offshore, catching post-spawn fish. But for some reason, when I ran up north towards the river in practice, the water was too dirty. I didn't get hardly any bites until I was on the main lake where it was clean. Anywhere from mid-lake down, I needed a little dirtiness to the water. I don't know if the fish were super spooky or what was going on, but if I could see the sand or the bottom of the cypress trees from a little distance away, I would just skip them because I couldn't get bit there. Another thing was that there couldn't be extra like buckbrush or any bushes or anything around the cypress trees. It just seemed like there was too many places to hide, and the fish wouldn't set up on the cypress trees as well. Another thing that I found is that there couldn't be any extra floating grass or anything around there. Again, I don't know if fish were just sitting underneath the grass and I never got to them or they never bit. No floating grass, couldn't see the bottom, adult cypress trees, no buckbrush around, and again, you couldn't have a steep drop off. I needed some sort of a, you could have a deeper middle, but I needed some sort of a flat where the fish were able to come up and sit on, that kind of thing. The only thing I could get bit on, I threw top water, I threw square bills around, I did a bunch of stuff, but the only thing I could really get bit on is something that I have maybe thrown less than 5 times in my life. And so each tournament, it seems like, if you guys watch the other videos, recaps or other tournaments we've done in the opens, there's always a technique I come home with that I learned and I become more adept to. When it was the James River last year, it was a square bill. When it was Oneida, it was a Nico rig. And Upper Chesapeake, well, I didn't catch much of the Upper Chesapeake, so I didn't really do anything there. But here is the wacky rig. Everybody's, oh, it's the wacky rig, it sucks, you know, it catches dinks. I really didn't care. My optimal weight, I thought I could get was anywhere from 11 to 13 pounds, and I had opportunities that I'll get into on day 1 and day 2. Today is day 2, that I had an opportunity to catch that 11 to 13 pounds. The wacky rig is the only thing I could get to work. If I threw a regular weightless rigged Texas rig weightless Cinco, which I like to throw at home a lot, it almost fell too quickly, and I was using a lighter hook than I normally do, but I was using just a 5-inch Cinco, stick bait, whatever. The biggest thing is that I used this color. This is a June bug laminate. It's like a darker hunter green pumpkin there and more of a purplish blue, like bigger blue flake. The water, again, I was looking for off-colored water. Green pumpkin probably would have worked, black and blue probably would have worked, but for me this is kind of my in-between color. This is just a VMC wacky Nico hook. I didn't use any like O-rings or anything like that. Don't ask me why, I just didn't. But that's literally hooked in the middle. I would skip it or cast it up there, work it a couple times. The key thing is that the fish weren't engulfing this, and that became a key here today. The fish weren't engulfing it, they were carrying it off and almost chomping up and killing it. In practice, I have fish that run 20, 30 feet away, and I'm trying to shake them off because I didn't want to hook them in practice. And I think they just took an extra while to eat it. Yesterday, day 1, I ended up weighing 9 pounds 5 ounces with 5 fish. I did lose a 3-pounder right away in the morning. That was just me being dumb. If you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and back and watch the tournament video. I talk about it and recap everything there. But also, I felt like the fish just weren't eating it like they're normally, like they're up there hungry. They're up there doing something. Again, I found a little bit more information here on day 2 when I went up and kind of looked around to see what the fish were doing. I think they were guarding fry, or they were just up there hanging around. They weren't really eating, or they were, again, guarding a nest that I couldn't see because they were buck bass. Today though, day 2, I actually did get a more, like, I had a lot of bites in the morning. What I ended up finding out is that there was a little bit of shad spawn going on in the area that I started in today, and there wasn't a shad spawn going in there. anywhere. If you didn't know, shad go up and spawn on hard surfaces, weed edges, trees, whatever. They have real sticky eggs, kind of like how yellow perch and northern pike do. They want to spawn on structure, floating docks, retaining walls, hydrilla mats, anything like that. First time, I don't know a whole bunch about it, so I'm not going to get into it. But today was the first time I've ever seen a shad spawn, and the fish weren't prototypical up there blowing up on shad. They were just around them, and that's what we got today. We got a lot of bites, but the bites, they weren't like, I had to really let them take a long time. Like when they grabbed it and took off, I'd have to like reel up 3 times slowly with slack to catch up to them, and that's how long it took, and they'd still be on the outer portion of the mouth. There's only one that had a deep this morning. So it was an adjustment on day 2 today that I lost a lot of fish, but it was on my doing. But the wacky rig, when it's the shallow water, it just took forever to fall, and I think it just drove them nuts. A couple times you'd twitch it, you know, when it would fall like this, you'd twitch it, or I'd shake it, and this thing would just start bouncing, you know, and would go down. My setup here is the Cast King. This is the Royale Legend 2. 3000 size reel, smaller reel, and then we've got the Cast King 15-pound, their 8 carrier braid. It's new as of last year. It's made for spinning reels. It's smoother, casts a long ways, and I knew I was throwing a lighter bait, and I wanted to be able to get the optimal cast on there. This is Cast King 100% covert fluorocarbon. This is 15-pound. I knew I was up and around some beefier stuff. For most of you finesse guys out there, that's way too heavy or whatever for a wacky rig, but I was around cover. I don't really use much super light line anyway, and so it worked for me. And I'm telling you, this is a sleeper in the lineup. This is the Cast King Wide-Eye Walleye 6/8 power jig rod. A real small rod. I believe it's a fast action. It's a medium. I've caught muskies on this rod. I've caught my personal best northern pike on this rod. If you play it right, like, this rod does a very, very good job. And that's literally what it is. Normally these videos I talk a bunch and we do a couple different techniques and stuff like that. This week it was super simple. Again, they were up there either doing a shad spawn deal in the mornings, because once the sun comes up the shad stops spawning. They're up there guarding fry, or they're up there around beds and stuff like that. And this little setup here, I slung it all day long. Now I went out and drop shot it a little bit. I threw a Carolina rig in practice, but nothing that was like worth mentioning here. I caught all my fish on this wacky rig, 5-inch stick bait, BMC, hook, whatever. Royale Legend 2, 6/8 power jig rod. Like I said, this little 6/8 rod I really like for drop shotting when I'm dropping vertically on them, because it's 6/8, it's shorter, so it's not super in front of the boat, it's dropping right below me. It's got a little bit more of a limber tip because it is a medium. I was able to skip and do a bunch of stuff like that. So that's kind of my setup. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you guys are big into wacky rigging, like, leave some comments and let me know. I want to get better at it. It's definitely a fish catcher, catches fish, but when the bite got tough for me and I was in really, really shallow water, this is the most natural, long-lasting presentation in the strike zone that I could do. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out the tournament video if you haven't. This is the Preston Outdoors channel and our video series Road to Pro, where we document the Basmaster Opens that we're doing. So I want to thank you guys thanks for watching. Tune in next time to Preston Outdoors.